Welcome to the Ice Guys, presented by the Hockey Podcast Network. Sunday, June 6th, it's Ian Cameron and Alex B. Smith with you, ready to break down this Sunday NHL Stanley Cup Playoffs card. 2 games on tap. Winnipeg, Montreal, as the scene shifts to La Belle Provence for Game 3 tonight in that series, as well as Game 4 with the Vegas Golden Knights and the Colorado Avalanche. So we will preview both of those games. We'll also look back at last night. Before we do want to mention, DraftKings is premier sponsor here of the Hockey Podcast Network and all the shows on the network. Great job by them yesterday. If you bet golf and you happen to be betting Jon Rahm to win the Memorial Tournament this weekend, obviously a stunning turn of events. He is absolutely on his way to winning that tournament. I know there was a whole Sunday final round to go. Maybe he has a bad round. Maybe he collapses down the stretch. But the way he was golfing, I don't think that was going to happen. He was in control. He was up by 6 strokes at the time. And he ends up all of a sudden getting, someone's goes up to him coming off the 18th green at the end of his 3rd round and obviously delivers the bad news to him that, you have to withdraw from this tournament. You can't keep playing in this tournament. You've tested positive for COVID-19. It was, I don't think we've ever seen anything like it. Hell, Jim Nantz on the broadcast for CBS had no clue what was going on. He's like, what's going on here? You could actually hear him say that on the broadcast. It was just such an incredible television moment because everybody was shocked. Like, what the hell's going on? And right away, when you can tell he's getting bad news, really bad news, because someone's come up and talked to him, and all of a sudden he's like going like this, hands in his head, all that kind of thing. And he ends up walking back to the clubhouse there. And you could tell he delivered bad news, but we just didn't know what it was. You could have thought maybe someone in the family got ill or passed away or something. You thought it could have been something really bad. This is still pretty bad, but your mind's racing. What on earth could have been the news that now he's forced him to withdraw and leave the golf course like that? But that's what it was. And obviously, because he's tested positive, you can't keep playing. You're out of the tournament. And what DraftKings did is they paid out all those Jon Rahm bets as winners on that. If you bet Jon Rahm to win the Memorial, you were graded a win for your bet. So an incredible gesture and display from DraftKings for all their customers, all their players at DraftKings Sportsbook. So I just wanted to acknowledge that because I think that is an upstanding thing to do. Wonderful that DraftKings decided to honor that bet. I mean, if I were in those shoes and had bet Jon Rahm to win that tournament, I honestly would have just been happy with the refund, with the push, with just getting the money back and having it called void. But the fact they paid out all those Jon Rahm outright bets as winners, as wins, kudos to DraftKings, of course, who sponsors the Hockey Podcast Network. Great job with that. And you like to see that, Alex, in terms of sports books, at the end of the day, trying to do good by the people that, and put their money down with their book, with their app, with their property, whatever the case may be. And it's good to see examples of what DraftKings did yesterday for those that bet Jon Rahm in this golf tournament.
Yeah, and it's huge. This is a landmark event potentially in the world of sports betting because that means the gaming commissions in where DraftKings is available, and there's a couple other books that did it as well. They allowed the books to grade this as a win, where some of the older standbys, mainly Nevada, pretty much had to just kind of call this as a loss because he didn't complete the event. We're going to see changes now in how gaming commissions across the nation and, of course, soon, around the world approach some of these things and some of these of course, like I said, we always talk about checking the list of rules with whatever sportsbook you deal with. And it's a long list. It takes time to read, but we're going to see some of those being reviewed because, like you said, the thing is that people are putting their hard-earned money down on all of these events, and to pay them out as a win, or even like I said, to refund them, you're going to get the money back. These people aren't just going to just take the money and you're never seeing them again. So it's good for business, and I think some of the older standbys need to kind of take notice of that moving forward if other events happen to be disrupted in this manner.
Absolutely. It definitely is going to be something that we'll see how it is handled moving forward. But it was definitely handled well yesterday by DraftKings in regards to Jon Rahm. We also handled business quite well yesterday. With the Islander game, worked out well for both of us. A Alex was on the Islanders. I had them as well for the show best bet. So they got it done. We'll start there since we brought them up. Bruins and Islanders, really an entertaining hockey game last night. It was a fight-filled first period. Taylor Hall gave him full marks for dropping the gloves with Mayfield. Mayfield's dropped the gloves and fought a lot. Not a lot, but a bunch of times. He is definitely someone that's familiar with dropping the gloves and getting into scraps. Not so much Taylor Hall. And yet, if you look at the replay, Taylor Hall kind of initiated that one and dropped the gloves first. I was absolutely floored by that. But credit to him, and he hung in there. He's obviously going up against someone that fights and drops the gloves a lot more than he does. But I think it showed a lot to his team. Rally the bench a little bit. He didn't like the hit he took, and he did something about it. He didn't whine. He didn't complain. He actually said, you know what, Scott Mayfield, I didn't like that hit. Let's go. And he dropped, and he was the first one to drop the gloves. I thought that was amazing to see Taylor Hall do that. Well done by Taylor Hall. Of course, it was a very rough game from the very beginning. There was pretty much a scrum after the majority of whistles in this game throughout the game. There was nasty stuff. There was, of course, Jared Tenorti and Matt Martin. That was a legit heavyweight fight later in the first period. That was a good scrap. You had lots of scrums going into the second and the third period. There were a lot of scrums after the whistle, after bumping the goalie. We saw David Krejci give the little 9 of hearts to someone there on the Islanders, and that didn't make the Islanders happy. It looks like Zajac wanted to tear his head off, after he did that with the old little stick in the groin area, in between the legs there by David Krejci, which they reviewed. See, would that be a major penalty or just a minor? They ended up giving it a minor penalty. And look, sometimes we're going to just be right or wrong with our gut intuition. And my gut intuition was based on him tying the game in game 3 of this series the other night that Matt Barzal would get things cooking a little bit. And he sure did last night for the New York Islanders. A goal and an assist. He was all over the ice. He was making things happen. He, of course, had a beautiful assist on the Kyle Palmieri goal, which tied the game. And, of course, an incredible hand-eye coordination type of goal to put the game not away, but give the Islanders the lead late in the third period. Just basically swatted it out of midair just as the puck was about to hit the ice, and it beats Rask for that 2-1 goal. And, of course, the Islanders put it away with not one but 2 empty netters, and they end up winning 4-1. I thought they got stronger as the game went on. There were times they were holding back a little bit. Boston carried the play. It was pretty even most of the way, but I thought the Islanders got better in the third period, and you could tell the urgency really set in for the Islanders in the third period of that game when it was 1-1, saying, hey, we got to find a way here. We can't go back to Boston down 3-1. Barzal was great. Beauvillier had a million chances. He played a good game, even though he couldn't capitalize on any of them. He was noticeable. And look, for the Bruins, David Pastrnak. I mean, you talk about maybe the game sort of swinging toward the Islanders with that moment. That's basically the equivalent of missing a 2-foot putt, what David Pastrnak did last night. That was a wide open net, a yawning cage, and he puts it right off the post. I mean, he had nobody in front of him. The net was just there. All he has to do is basically slide. He could have just slid it right into the middle of the net. Instead, he just shanks it, and it goes off the post. A stunning miss, to be honest with you, by Pasta in that regard. With that, I'm still stunned to this moment that he missed that and did not put that in the net for a Bruin goal. But nevertheless, the Islanders did what they had to do, 4-1 win. And you got to start calling out some of these depth forwards for the Bruins. I still thought Bergeron's line played well. Taylor Hall was noticeable. Krejci had a big goal. Where's Jake DeBrusk? And Charlie Coyle on that goal that Palmieri scored. This is the playoffs, guy. Like, how about you screw in there and figure out where your man is and don't lose coverage like that in front of the net. It's like he didn't even try to cover Palmieri in front of the net. He just let him go. Basically just said, here you go. Here's your space right in front of Tuukka Rask. There's the puck. I'll let you have at it. Don't mind me. Don't mind me whatsoever. I thought that was abysmal by Charlie Coyle right there on the defensive end on that Islander goal that made it 1-1. Terrible on his part. DeBrusk's done nothing in this series, and I know Bruins fans are calling for him to be a healthy scratch next game. That's how bad it's getting with Jake DeBrusk. Not only is he not giving you anything offensively, but he's losing puck battles. He's not digging in the corners as much as he needs to, because that's his game, the forecheck game, and he's just not showing up at that end of the ice right now for the Bruins. So they have some adjustments to make. Bruce Cassidy wasn't impressed with his team passing up so many shots and opportunities to shoot the puck in that game last night. So we'll see if they fix that. Here we go. We're talking about we got to shoot the puck more and we got to fix the power play. You know how many times we hear coaches say that? And Cassidy said that about the Bruins after last night's loss. But the Islanders win 4-1, and now the series tied 2-2. We're down to a best of 3, and I'm on schedule with Boston 4-3 series bet, as well as the series to go 7. We're right on schedule with that, in good shape, hopefully, unless one of these two teams wins back-to-back games. And I don't know if we'll see that the way this series has gone. Alex, what's your thoughts on the game last night?
Yeah, it's definitely playing right into that line of equation. It was a great win for the Islanders, another raucous crowd that got behind them. Like you said, kudos to Taylor Hall, Scott Mayfield, dropping the gloves, answering the bell, and having a great fight. Like I said, as well as Matt Martin and Jared Tenorti. You love to see that kind of stuff. Like I said, and moving forward too, with just the great scoring chances. Like you said, Boston's got to shoot the puck more, and I was saying that too. That taking that extra pass, we see this with a lot of skilled teams throughout the years. That extra pass can kill you sometimes. I know you're looking for the best quality shot, the best angle, but sometimes just putting the puck on net, especially in a gritty series like this. Like you said, we're seeing a lot of heavy hitting, a lot of scrums between the whistles, a lot of traffic in front of both nets. Just put the puck on net and then let it bounce off of somebody and go in. No reason to get cute and fancy this series. This is not a cute and fancy series by any means. So the sooner that teams recognize that and recognize that earlier in games than we've seen, then we'll probably see some more offense. So with Cassidy making that statement, and I'm looking at the lines for that game. We got another 5 in that total, so we might be looking toward the over. I might want to grab that sooner than later because that price could go up with people taking notice of that.
Yeah, and of course, the 2 overs in this series were the 2 games in Boston. And of course, that's where we're headed, back there to TD Garden for game 5. All right, the other game yesterday was Carolina-Tampa Bay. And for the longest time in this series, we've been wondering, where is the offensive explosion? Is there going to be one? And if so, when is it going to happen? Oh, it happened all right, and it happened in the second period. 8 goals, 8 in the second period of yesterday's game between the Hurricanes and the Lightning. The Hurricanes are going to have nightmares about this game, because when you score 4 against Andre Vasilevsky, the way he's played this season and the way the Lightning have defended in front of him most of these playoffs, you'd love to be able to say, you know what, we got that game into the win column. And they can't say that because unfortunately, Carolina was really out of sorts defensively. They were just letting Tampa Bay make that. Now, Tampa Bay, a lot of it was they just moved the puck so damn well. It's very difficult to defend it. The puck movement, the player movement, the passing between Stamkos and Kucherov and Point and all of these different, especially with the power play, it's what hurt Carolina. And you just cannot be, after 2 periods in that game, you cannot be against a team like Tampa Bay 6-1 in the penalty category like you were. 6 Carolina penalties, 1 Tampa Bay penalty after the first 2 periods of that game. You just can't be in the box that much against a team as skilled, as potent, as devastating with their power play as the Lightning are, and expect to win games. You just can't. And Carolina learned that the hard way, that our discipline caught up to us again. And Carolina, you know what? They got away with bad discipline at times against Nashville. I thought they were in the penalty box a lot in that series, and they got away with it because, look, they're just way better than Nashville. But that's not going to happen in this series. They are still taking too many penalties, and they're paying the price for it, because you can't give teams that good with a power play that's that lethal that many chances to strike. And Lightning did indeed strike multiple times with the man advantage yesterday against Carolina. Very unfortunate. They finally got some goals. They finally got some offensive production, Carolina, and you still come up short in a game you almost just about had to have. And now you're down 3-1 going back to Carolina. I don't know if Tampa will end the series in game 5, because Carolina at home is tough, and they won't roll over, but it's going to be very difficult to see Carolina winning 3 straight against a Tampa Bay team that's playing quite well right now. And look, they didn't even play their best defensive game, and yet that's why Tampa's scary, right? They can win 2-1. They can win 3-2. Their defense and their goaltending is impenetrable. And then there was a little chink in the armor with the defense and the goaltending yesterday. No problem. We'll just have the offense and the power play light you up for 6 goals, and we'll still win. That's the danger right now with facing the Tampa Bay Lightning. Alex, what do you think of that one yesterday, Canes Lightning?
Yeah, like I said, we saw the dam pretty much burst wide open with the offense, and we talked about it. The kind of mantra of the series has been that both teams respect each other's offense and they're playing sound defensively. That completely just went out the window. But like you said, the Achilles heel for the Hurricanes was, like you said, the parade to the penalty box. You cannot keep doing that against a dangerous power play like the Lightning, and they proved it with 3 power play goals in that second period barrage. So for this team, to try now, like I said, I don't see them winning 3 straight at all. And even though they're going back home, that meant nothing. We saw Tampa Bay take the first 2 games in Carolina. So, this is defending Stanley Cup champion, a proven playoff, a perennial playoff team. They have that killer instinct I always talk about in the postseason. I think they'll be able to get things done in Game 5. Unfortunately for us, because we both have Hurricane series bets, but I'll probably be looking to adjust and grab the Lightning for Game 5 because I just don't see where they got their confidence riding high. Like you said, the fact that they didn't even play well defensively, but still got that win and started to get things clicking offensively. I think that offensive momentum is going to carry them moving forward.
Yeah, it's an uphill battle for sure for the Carolina Hurricanes right now. And remember, still without Niederreiter and Trocheck, 2 of their better forwards. Although offense wasn't their issue yesterday, it was discipline and bad penalty killing. And look, Mrazek, I don't even think you can blame him. So many of those goals, like how are you going to blame Mrazek? I mean, they were really good goals, really good shots, great passing. The 4-4 goal took a crazy deflection off the Carolina defender trying to block the shot, and it just rose right up under the crossbar. There's nothing Mrazek could have done there. Yet I just get that sense, even though you really can't hang that loss on Mrazek because they still gave up 6 goals, I get that sense Rod Brindamore's going back to the kid for Game 5. I just get that sense he's probably going to go back to Nedeljkovic. Just a gut feel. We'll see if I'm right, but I think he's going to end up going back to Nedeljkovic for Game 5 and that must-win spot for the Carolina Hurricanes. All right, let's turn our attention to today's action. We got 2 games tonight. Game 3, North Division Final. Winnipeg Jets, Montreal Canadiens. We've got Montreal around -120 home favorites here. The total is 5, shaded to the over in this game. We've seen an adjustment now with the total 5. There are some 5.5s out there as well, so shop around. By the way, hit the like button if you're watching us live on YouTube. Please do that. It helps us out quite a bit. We're up to over 1K subscribers on the channel. So anyone that tunes in to the show, hit the like button. Again, it means that when you search the Ice Guys or NHL or betting, we're going to come up more in the search if you guys hit the like button more often. That's why it helps us. So definitely hit that like button if you're enjoying the show on a daily basis. As far as Jets and Habs go, Jets are a team that's got a ton of heart, ton of grit, ton of character. They're not rolling over. And to be honest with you, the last game was just they couldn't beat Carey Price. I thought they played good. I thought it was an even game. I don't think Montreal outplayed them by any stretch of the imagination, but they just couldn't beat Carey Price, and it's been a difficult time of it for them to beat Carey Price in this Montreal defense, which has been really solid. I thought Montreal could win that game and go up 2-0. They did. I don't think Winnipeg is going to roll over, though. And you know how I feel about these teams down 2-0 in Game 3. I sometimes like to back them because I know they're going to get their desperate effort, a most urgent effort from the Jets. And look, Paul Stastny traveled with the team to Montreal. And look, he hasn't been ruled in yet. It's going to be a game-time decision. I think he's playing tonight. I think this is one of those spots where he doesn't travel to Montreal if he doesn't plan on playing in these 2 games. I think you're going to see him in tonight for the Jets, and they need it. They need some center ice depth. They need some help down the middle. He is the kind of guy that's going to give them that tonight in this game. Hellebuck was good the last game. The Jets defensively were a lot better than they were in Game 1. Now they just got to find their offense again. Easier said than done with the way the Habs are defending and Price is playing in net, but I think Winnipeg is, and it's one thing to keep in mind too about the Jets. Their best hockey's been on the road this year. You know, they've been an excellent road team throughout the course of the season, and they've actually done well in Montreal throughout the course of the regular season. Now, I know this is playoffs, and I know Montreal, regular season Montreal versus playoff Montreal, we're seeing a night and day difference. But I do think the Jets aren't going to pack it in here. I like them in the first period specifically. You know, I've been on that bet repeatedly with these teams down 2-0 going into Game 3. So I like Winnipeg here at the plus price in the first period. A little smaller on them in the full game as well. I do think they've got the potential to take this game tonight as well. This might be the only game they get because I could see this This could just be a one-off because I could see Montreal bouncing back and winning game 4, which is tomorrow night, by the way. It's very important to point out this is a back-to-back that these two teams are playing. Game 3 tonight in Montreal, and then they'll play game 4 tomorrow on Monday night. So this is going to be a back-to-back spot. But I'll take my shot here with the Jets here at a plus price first period. A little bit more on the first period and a little bit less on the full game with the Jets here in this game. And by the way, it's worth noting this, Alex, in this second round, the team down 2-0 in the series in game 3 has won. Carolina against Tampa Bay, and of course Vegas against Colorado the other night. Both of those teams were down 2-0. They found a way to win game 3. I don't think the Jets are going to roll over. Like I said, they were right in the last game. Even game 1, they got off to that miserable start, and they still got to within 1 goal with the net empty and had a chance to tie it. And then, of course, seconds later, we know what happened in that game. Mark Scheifele hit on Jake Evans. But, Jets are right there. This is a razor-thin margin series so far. I'll take my shot here with the Jets today, first period and full game. Alex, what's your thoughts? Game 3, Winnipeg, Montreal.
Yeah, I'm not playing this game. I would lean with the Jets first period, but also, like I said, I think the way that Carey Price is playing right now, and the momentum that this Montreal team has, it's just hard to go against them. And in this back-to-back spot, if you do like Montreal, I would suggest taking a unit and splitting it. Go half unit with Montreal in the full game, and I would take a shot with the plus 180 for Montreal to win in a 4-game sweep, because if they can dominate in this game at home and then have to turn right back around to close the series out, I just don't see where Winnipeg will have the energy. I think this is an all or nothing spot here for Winnipeg. If they're going to make a series out of it, they have to win this game. It's not going to be a chance for them to get that going down 3-0 in the series. So that's the way I would play that if you like Montreal. But even if you like Montreal to win the game tonight, I would still look at Winnipeg possibly first period and then look to get a better price adjusted on Montreal. Like I said, this is just a hot team right now. And like I said, Winnipeg's going to come out with some energy and fire. They have to in the first period if they want to make a game and a series out of this. So I wouldn't talk anyone out of the Jets first period, but I still would lean toward Montreal. And like I said, if you like them to win game 3, grab the plus price now for them to win the series in 4.
Yeah, definitely. This is it for Winnipeg. Well, got to win tonight, or else I think they're probably done after tomorrow night if they don't win tonight, because you could see Montreal say, hey, this is a back-to-back. Tomorrow night, we're right back at it. Let's end it. Why take the trip back to Winnipeg if we can avoid it? I think that's going to be the thought for Montreal if they win tonight. The question is, will they win tonight? I think the Jets have a shot here. I do like the over a little bit too. Again, small bet. These are small. It's hard to, especially with this total now 5 in a lot of spots. Winnipeg's got to open up. Winnipeg's got to. They're talking about the same thing Boston's talking about going into game 5 of their series against the Islanders. Shoot the puck more. Shoot. Don't pass up the opportunity to shoot the puck is essentially the message to the Winnipeg Jets from Paul Maurice. So we'll see if they heed that. And look, get bodies in traffic. That is the recipe to beat a goalie that's locked in like Carey Price right now. Pucks, bodies, traffic to the net. Keep it simple. We'll see if the Jets are able to follow through with the execution on that here tonight. All right, game 4, Colorado, Vegas. We've got the Golden Knights here, about minus 115 home favorites here in this one. Total 5.5 shaded to the under in this game. Colorado, can they tilt the scales back in their favor? Because I hate to use the playoff cliche, and this is a playoff one that I've heard a lot the last few days, few weeks. It's all about in the playoffs. There's been a bunch of different people that have said this. It's about whether you get to your game quicker and you play it better than the other team. I've heard that quite a bit. You got to get to your game quicker than the other team, and you've got to play your game better and execute your game plan better than the other team at playoff time. For Vegas, they've executed their game better. They've gotten to their game quicker. All of those cliches, they've done that over Colorado the last 5 periods. And it's not just, and Colorado's still been right in both games. In fact, they won game 2 despite getting outplayed in the second period and the third period. And they were actually leading, believe it or not, 2-1 in the third period against Vegas in game 3 on Friday night, even though they were getting badly outplayed in that game from a shots, high danger chances. Expected goals in that game were like 4.5 to, 2 point something for Colorado. I mean, it was statistical dominance by Vegas, and yet they still needed 2 goals late in the third to to take the lead and win the game. against Colorado, with the goal that was scored by Marchessault, bouncing it in off of Grubauer, and then, of course, the Max Pacioretty deflection goal. And finally, Jared Bednar had enough. Like, this is a guy that's been mild-mannered as the head coach of this team. He's pretty low-key, pretty reserved in terms of his tone of voice. That's about as angry as I've ever seen him after Game 3, talking about how, the only person that gave a big-time effort for our team was Philip Grubauer, and then comparing his top line to Vegas's top line, say, take a look at all the stats. Our top line against theirs, it wasn't even close, he said. So it was basically a verbal tongue lashing from a guy that doesn't do that very often following that Game 3 loss. The question is, can Colorado find their A game? I think after getting a little bit of a, crack some skulls tirade of that magnitude by Bednar, I think you're going to see Colorado awaken a little bit today. And if they bring their A game, if they bring it, I think they're too good for Vegas. That's if they bring their A game. We haven't seen it the last 5 periods. We haven't. But if we do see it, I think they're going to show up. And I think Colorado correlates to over, because I do think, if Colorado's going to find their game again, dominate, they're going to cycle the puck, they're going to swarm in the offensive zone. We know the characteristics of when Landeskog, Rantanen, McKinnon, and the depth forwards, Jost, Burakovsky, Donskoy, and the rest of them, when they're on their game, you can't get the puck from them. They possess the puck. They dominate in that category. They have not been doing that now for the last 5 periods. I think after Bednar lit them up a little bit after that last game, that we're going to see them play a lot better. He basically said they were a no-show after in that Game 3 loss. So I think we see their best today. And if we do see their best, I think it's too good for Vegas. Simple as that. Even though this game at T-Mobile Arena, you got to respect Vegas and the way they play on that home ice. But I think you're getting Colorado's best today. I'm on the Avs here, minus 110 in this game. I'm going to take Colorado. I had Colorado circled from the second I heard Jared Bednar's post-game press conference the other night saying, wow, he's really getting after them for these last 5 periods. And it's a wake-up call. Look, you're still in control of the series 2-1, but if you keep falling into this malaise that you've been playing like for the last 5 periods, you're all of a sudden got yourselves a problem on your hands, and you're going to have a series on your hands, one that you may not get out of. If you keep this up, you got to stop the bleeding and find your game again pronto. It's basically what he said after Friday night's game. I think you see it from Colorado today. I like the Avs. I like over 5.5 as well. Alex, what's your thoughts here? Game 4, Colorado, Vegas.
Yeah, I grabbed the Avs yesterday at even money when it opened. I thought for sure we'd be seeing $1.20, $1.25s today, but it was still in the pick'em range. So by all means, definitely go and grab that if you like the Avalanche. And I also like the team total over just at 2.5 minus $1.25 or minus $1.30. That's great. We've been talking about how Colorado, like I said, for them to win, they got to get the offense rolling. And it's rare that you see 2.5s with the Avalanche. We've been seeing 3.5s and 4s going all the way back to the last month of the regular season, because of how this offense has been crushing it. So, like I said, Bednar called them out. I think they're going to answer the bell. And even though, like I said, Vegas is tough at home, I think, Colorado, we talk about they're just a superior hockey team. They won 11 of their last 12 games for a reason. I think they get things, back on track, and they end up winning this game, going back home to Denver with a 3-1 lead.
Yep, definitely. That team total, you're a great point about the team total here. You're right. I'm seeing it right now. It's 2.5 minus 130 on Colorado. I'm betting that too. Over 2.5 minus 130. I've been on Colorado team total over a lot in these playoffs, but all of them have been 3.5. All of the total team totals were 3.5 in the St. Louis series. They were in Colorado earlier in this series, but now in Vegas, and off a loss where they got held to just the 2 goals in Game 3. All of a sudden, you're seeing down to 2.5 at minus 130. I think they get back to 3 goals. I think that's a hell of a bet right there. Colorado team total over 2.5 minus 130. So I'm on that. I'm on the money line with Colorado, and as well as Colorado Vegas over 5.5 at around plus 110, plus 105 as well in this one. All right, great stuff. That is the Sunday card. We appreciate everyone tuning in. We'll get to best bets in just a second. Before we do that, reminder, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app, sign up for an account, use the promo code THPN. And after what we heard with the John Rahm situation, they'll do right by you if there's incidents like that, which is great to hear. But download that app, sign up for an account. If you do, you'll get bet bonuses, bet boosts, weekly deposits, weekly specials, weekly incentives, and more. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. You'll get NFL in a couple months. It'll be back. College football, NHL and NBA playoffs, as well as MLB Daily. Make sure you check all of that out. DraftKings, download the app, sign up for an account, and use the promo code THPN. All right, best bets. Yes, I know we do have a World Hockey Championship gold medal game. 1 p.m. Eastern time this afternoon, Canada versus Finland. What Canada's done is unbelievable. They had lost their first 3 games. They've got a very young, inexperienced roster. I thought they were going to be out. They had to win out the rest of their round robin to make the medal round, but they did. They got hot at the right time. They knocked out the powerhouse Russians. They beat the U.S. in the semifinals yesterday, and now here they are in the final against Finland. So let's just say my betting analysis on that game is simple. Canada's just on fire right now. I'm not going against them. Simple as that. I don't know if I'll be betting the game, to be honest with you, but Canada's just feeling it right now. And the way I see Andrew Mangiapane playing in this tournament for Team Canada in this World Hockey Championship makes me think, why can't the Calgary Flames get more out of that guy? He's a really good. He's got some skills. He's got some ability. He's got some finish to him. I think definitely Calgary should be featuring that guy more. I think he should be in a top 6 role the more I see him play right now. So I think what Calgary mismanaged some players on their team. Whoa, you don't say. I mean, my goodness, that guy should be getting more of a look, Alex. He's been playing great, and this guy's buried on a 3rd and 4th line most of the season in Calgary. I'm like, look at the skill and the ability this guy's got, and he's tearing it up, scoring goals every game in this tournament. They obviously aren't seeing it the way I am with this kid. He can play, so it'll be interesting to see if maybe he gets more ice time next year with Calgary, because he damn well should. No question. All right, let's get to best bets. Alex, we'll start with you. What do you like for a best bet tonight?
I'm going to go with that Avalanche team total, over 2.5 minus $1.30. I just looked back quickly at the game logs. If the number was 2.5 in the last 15 games for the Avalanche, they would have gone 13-2 in that stretch. So we know, like I said, it's a dominant offense. They got to wake up in order to keep this series in their favor. So we'll go with the Avs. Team total over 2.5 minus $1.30 is the best bet.
All right, team total over 2.5 minus 130 for the Colorado Avalanche. Best bet here for Alex B. Smith with the Avalanche versus Golden Knights game taking place tonight. No, Kadri is still out. Kadri's still out. He's still his thing is he's still headed for arbitration. Last I heard, so I don't know what's going on, but he's not playing. No way. He is definitely not playing in the game tonight. My best bet for this card, I'm going to go with the Winnipeg Jets first period. I've been on these first periods with the 0-2 team down 0-2 throughout the series, throughout the playoffs, I should say. And I'm going to stick right by it here today. Again, Winnipeg's also been a pretty good road team all year. In fact, you could argue they've been even better on the road than they've been at home. First period, plus 110, Winnipeg Jets. That's what I'm going to go with. Winnipeg plus 110, first period against Montreal. That'll be my best bet for this Sunday NHL card. That'll wrap up this edition of the show. Thanks to everyone for tuning in. A reminder, the Ice Guys is live on YouTube 7 days a week, Monday to Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern, Saturday and Sunday, noon Eastern. And if you can't watch the show live, you can download the Ice Guys podcast in audio form on all major podcast platforms, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and iHeart. Check it out, the podcast on all those platforms. For Alex B. Smith, I'm Ian Cameron. Have a great Sunday. Enjoy the games and good luck. And we'll talk to you again tomorrow on Monday for another edition of the Ice Guys presented by the Hockey Podcast Network.